Start recording. Hello everyone and welcome to the session number 5. My goodness, we're already halfway through. So today we actually need to complete what we was just start talking last time and proceed to the next step. I was planning to talk about RDA emulators and simulators. Yeah, we still will talk about this, but I want to bring something new, always catch a wave, so and fancy stuff. Alright, so, but as you remember last time we stopped right on some interesting point of how to test unknown mobile apps. So let's proceed to that interesting thoughts. So, what we do, when we come to work and it's like testing for the first time. I mean, we can create different scenario, but let's create a scenario then, alright, it's your not the first day of work, but we can say first week, first month of work. And actually this maybe from perspective, today it will be scenario, then we come to a company that just established. They don't have too much documentation, or maybe they have some already. And we will talk, so how you can involve, in the process immediately and look professional from the day number 1. So because not just like your appearance, but by the question, by the quality of question you ask. And so these people make assessment and make judgment who you are and how professional you are. All right, so this I highly recommend, right before interview, you remember this one of the things, then people always stagnant. It's like, man, I understand and I need to have some question to interviewer as well. So it's always like a common things come at the end of interview. Do you have a question? Do you have question to ask? Do you look our website? Do you have a question? Things like that. So I highly recommend, make some check marks during interview already, to understand, are you ready for company like this? Are you really can handle so they pass in schedule? Okay, give me a second because I need to check on. Oh shoot! I already tell you guys. Then I'm in the same time in the release. It's why this I need to respond very quick. Okay, so to continue, you need to ask question, what kind of mobile application we are testing, because it could be, this depends on answer, so you immediately can make some logical conclusion. So what kind of testing, what kind of category testing will be involved on daily basis? So for example, so we already learned this part. Sorry. Oh, nice. Sorry, I know that it was not a planned release. We're supposed to get the release done so last night, midnight, and we have a super delay. So in some difficulty, it's why this all these things is not planned, and I cannot cancel class in the last minute. Sorry, that if we will go back and forth with delays, I need to answer my group and my manager. Shoot, come on. Okay, so we're good. Sorry, one more time. As you read on the slide that I created, so we need to ask for what kind of mobile application now we are testing, because it will be the specific characteristic for mobile native or for web mobile or if it's a hybrid, then we use different techniques for testing. So we want to is just to get the front of our work. So this make a list of what is exactly expectation and what should be done. And that's why very important to ask what documentation is already available for on the day of testing. Because it's not like blah, 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 we plan to create. All right, plan to create, it means it will be your responsibility. So what is already there? So do we have some generic business requirements or we have something more like user story? And we will talk about this in a couple of seconds. So we also need to just check and understand SDLC specifics. I think then Michael already and Marina, I showed this apparatus already many times. So depends on what kind of methodology the company use. You can retrieve a lot of information. So if it's agile, what kind of agile it is? It's a stand-up daily meetings. What is the sprint duration? What is how many sprints will come in a phase or release, and how they do things? Are they implement new build every day? So because depends on all this question, then you will understand what your daily activities and your daily responsibility will be. So you also just check in the beginning. You can also check this in day number 1 or write an interview. What is the deadline, timeline for test writing, for test execution? So all the sprint, this timelines, so the company plan to have. So and also this, it's very important to check. One thing is your assumption or your excitement, so what you want to do and should do for the company, or another thing, what is your manager expectation regarding each team member. So because think about, and it's a normal process, and we talked about this before, when you come to the company, you're a brand new person, nobody really trusts you because they don't know you. It's perfectly fine and normal. So it's take a time when you build your special connection with the team, with the company, with the project, and how you build these all things, because you meet expectation of the manager or of the company. So and sometimes what you think then you should do, it's completely different what they think. So then make this clearance, like, all right, where you see my place in the team, so how much responsibility I should take. Should I work completely independent, or I report to some team member or to you directly? So this, it's a normal question. It's fine, but it's a relief for you, because sometimes what happened to the newbies when they come to the first job, they always stress out, my goodness, I don't do enough, or, it's a problem as then, and whether you do too much or and whether you do too nothing. So it's a black and white things. And, sometimes to be too much is much worse than do less. So because if you do less, you always can enhance yourself. If you do too much, you already make impression, then you create a trouble. You create additional work for manager and additional work for team member. And nobody wants additional work. They already have enough. So it's why this, you must be careful and clarify this issue in the beginning. And this, you also need to clarify preferable way of communication. I mean, it's a small things, but it's very important, because every manager, every company, they have some special style of communication. Everything through the email, or everything through the chat, or everything they will think then it's a rude if you send email, if you have developer right next door. So then, all right, stand up and go to talk to the developer personally. So you need to clarify the things, then feel comfortable and know how to find people and reach people in effective, productive way. Okay, we cleared that. Now, this testing for the first time, step 2. This I hear a lot of times, and people put this in resume like a first line, so main guidance line, what kind of tester they are, and it's everywhere, ad hoc, ad hoc, ad hoc. Guys, I understand that ad hoc still exists. It's terms then used in industry, but you don't, this for professional, ad hoc is equal to monkey tester. It's pretty much, so this you in free, intuitive way, just browsing around application to figure it out, how it's work, where's the main function. You don't have any plan why you do this. You just jumping around through the application and product, with hope then you will find the bug and report them. I mean, okay, it's approach of high school kids, fine, but for professional, I really prefer way of exploratory testing. So because it's approach, when you consistently describe, so this, the simultaneous learning, test design, and test execution. So what does this mean? Because, okay, learning, we understand. When you learn this, you make a plan. So you start and explore in some special paths. It could be user scenarios, could be your own path, then you screening page from the top to the bottom. So, but this way, then when you go, you not just push on all possible buttons, but you look for some paths and trends, how user will use these things, so that everything is functioning, and you make a checklist of what kind of modules you can create for testing, what kind of core functionality and option and feature you found already. So you can also establish some draft of sitemap of the application. So because they may have already this documentation, it's cool. If they have it, then you can just ask sitemap, and it will be very helpful when you need to write test cases. But if they do not have, so and you only want hope, so then again, make some special sketch for you of the sitemap, and doesn't matter what format that. So you don't need to be really, academic scientific to use always some software program. So if it's easy for you, all right, use it. But believe me, that most of the testers, they still have some simple hard copies or some notes, then they just writing down everything that they see and observe. So because it's always there and it's easy to go through and find information. So we talked about that. The best things when you start to explore something, you create checklist, draft checklist of sitemap for further testing of models, or you create core functionality list to explore a category of testing that applicable. Because if you explore core functionality and feature, then, when you go after that through the test plan, if it exists or not. So if you go through the special, test coverage, you will think, aha, so to this application, we really need to create some interaction test cases. Or, all right, I see a lot of fields, then we can leave empty or put some invalid information, then we better implement some error handling test cases. So, but you will never know this if you do not make a list, because, these things, I know very few people who really have a super good memory to just have this and visualize the sitemap in the head. So normally when we have this on a hard copy, it's easy to manage. So step number 3, we just, I mentioned test design. So to clarify this issue with test design, what is this? Pretty much I just talked about this last 5 hours. So we need to check from industry-wise, from point of view, how the application will be developed. Okay, just practical example, we have some ads company, and we know that, this right now we use some web 2.0 technology, so then it's a web mobile application, and we use some server and things like that. So, but we follow the trends, and we know then new way of web 3.0 will come in. So then we can already, just put inside, bring it up, and bring this possibility of this testing in our test plan to create folders for the futures, new technology coming, things like that. So we're looking for knowledge of functionality testing. So I told you why it's necessary, because sometimes, functionality is straight related to interruption test cases, or functionality related to network connectivity. So then we need to have this list of the feature, then we can create test cases around. So we need to know about testing techniques, because I mentioned this many times. I don't know how many people really take this serious. You will take this serious sooner or later when you start working. That's why I'm not worried. So you cannot utilize this right now. You don't see the worth of this right now until you start working. But all right, we have manual techniques. We have semi-manual, and we will talk about this today. We have a lot of some kind of automation, so this certain way. We also will, have some manual testing with help of some mobile applications, so third-party apps, helping apps list, and I gave you. It's a lot of possibilities of how we can test things. So planning skills to schedule in which order test cases should be designed, given effort. Yeah, this. I learned this hard way because we have several groups writing test cases for us, and it's a certain way to describe things. Go from how I told you. For example, if we take a page and we go first top, and after we cover body content, and after we go to the bottom part of the page, so and describe all over all this feature and buttons, then we see. Or this, many people do this, they do full content of the page. It's my preferable way. So then we make, like, in the beginning, our first test case will be always checklist of the page. So, and after we go for each section of the top, of each section of the bottom, and after we come back to the main portion of body content, if it's something flexible or testable there. So it's a different perspective how you describe things. And a lot of people, they follow the pattern. They go like in a wave, back and forth, back and forth. They go first generic test cases from the top to the bottom. After they come back to the top and start to put this more detail on what button, links, whatever icons is there. So, and after they go this again to describe in more details. So this from the top, middle, and bottom. And after this, they come back again to the bottom, and it's starting to get annoying. It's like, my goodness, I was already 2 times. Why I just cannot check all this feature all in one and just go slow from the top to the bottom? So, but it's how this different design, how you test things. And we will discuss this later and do practical exercise. Not today, but next week. Whew. Okay, so now step number 4, test documentation hints. First day of work, really, or in interview, you need to clarify what documentation is available for the project. So what you're looking for, you're looking sitemap of the website if it exists and available. You look for a wireframe, and wireframe, it's a document where you have some kind of design sketches, how all this application should look like. It's not a screenshot because application is not developed yet. So it's more likely, I don't know, they have special program, but it could be Photoshop for this matter. So they create some, whatever, imaginary design how it look like. But for you, if you do not have any documentation, wireframe will be good start to create test cases. It will be your like master copy, how it should look like. So with assumption how it should work, expected. So we have business requirement documentation. It's like minimum, bare minimum that we should have when company is established, and it will be useful because it will be some general statement what kind of application we will testing, what technical requirements we're looking for this application or product, and based on that you already can start. So you will get a clue. Aha, right now we do only web mobile version. Nobody really plan to do native anytime soon, so we not really concentrate on automation. So things like that, then you will use different design of test cases and how you describe things, because for automation we will use, put in the title more information for modules. So if it's just one line things, a lot of companies do not have time to write test cases down. So then it's turned to be then description field kind of vanished. So then all information will be just described and displayed in the title. So a lot of gaming company work with this, just one line. So for test cases, plus expected result. But again, it will be depends what kind of business requirement documentation we have in hand. You will need to clarify what kind of test plans they already have. Is it really like heavy documentation already done? So with some technical writers, with some really this BSA person or marketing and sale involved product owner put some really big input in that, or it's just architecture tree frame, or it's nothing and you need to start all from scratch and do it by yourself and create some draft and show this to product owner. So it must be clarified because again, we want to set and match expectation, what they expect from you and what you able and willing, whatever, or can do, this currently. Okay, so the last things we need to ask is that use case, use story, or use scenario, what they testing on. So just on business requirements and wireframes, or because normally this one of these three categories should be used. So use case, user story, or user scenario, if we talk about agile. And I don't know any waterfall mobile testing really. They all some form of agile, more extreme or less. So, but it's quite a difference between user case, user story, and user scenario. Then one is to get more details, one is just have generic statements. But all of them they needed, if we have use case, user story, or user scenario, then your job to write test cases is super easy. You just follow the story, scenario, create. So each story will be some big, huge module for you for testing. So that you can open extra folder, extra, Excel sheets for that. So in just for in each story, scenario, or case, you will have for each core functionality, feature, or option some special kind of sort requirement ID. So you will just follow the story through from one requirement ID to another and create test cases for based on this headers and requirements ID. So what happened then, sometimes we have requirements ID was really generic. It's hard to create some test cases around. All right, combine some 3, 4, whatever, how many this you think meaningful. So this requirements ID together and create some meaningful test case for that, like general rules or business rules of page blah blah blah. So it's like example. Okay, so documentation is important. Here's a just checklist for you, what you have already, and if you do not have, as I really wanted to have, as I plan to have special person who will maintain and write these things, and if not, so what you can do and what is your time frame, so when and how you can do these things, So you need to specify and clarify, then you will not stress out of expectation, and so then you exceed expectation or not, and they will relieve. Then you talking professional, you know the subject, you know what you're talking about. So because most of interview, we never escape any question over and over. Are you know how to write test cases? Are you know how to do test plan? So at this point, it's exactly what they're asking. I ask 3 different managers and they tell me over and over the same story. So then from black box tester, from manual tester, it's what they're looking for. You're supposed to be test case writer. So you're supposed to understand and be comfortable with architecture of test plan. So this is architecture tree of test plan. You must understand, so this what possible folder you can put in and how you do things and how you work around test cases and test plan. Whew, do I jump? Oh man. All right, sorry. I don't know what was step 5. So I tried to clear this presentation between 2 hours sleep and today. So step number 5. You need to define application module, and you can have this different way. You can do this by page, by core function, or by user scenario. So you have 3 variations. What is the best solution? What is preferable style? Absolutely no standard. You don't know until you come to your organization. Based on what they do, how they do, who is already involved in processing, what is their previous experience are, they will tell you what is preferable. You can give them choice. You can tell them, yes, so we can define application modules and we can test so by modules based on, so just follow sitemap of website, or we just create list of core so function and option and go through this, or we just go by user scenario, so this every time each story will be new module. So talk, ask them what they want, give them options. All right, so now we come to like from all this overloaded, my goodness, so what was it? All these special tips, but do I really understand what I will do in day number 1? So give me some feedback. What you got from all my explanation for the last, I don't know, 25 minutes? So is it clear, yes or no? that books, oh, guys, I will not recommend you any book, and I will tell you why. So think about it's a logic. Mobile is a mobile because it's a super flexible. Technology change every 3 months. So, and the problem is by the time somebody write a book and publish it, it's already at least 6 or 7 months process. This book is altered. It's not actual, things. And the problem with the books, they try to make this attractive to, I don't know who academics. So they cannot put real story really too much in because it's always some exception. And they try to create this right way. So a lot of things not happen right way in real life. So, and it's not I say that now industry is always exception of bad. No, sometimes it's exception of good, but it's always very flexible. It depends on the company and people. So because mobile is very strong related to new technology, so they always try to something new form of doing things, how they doing things, what they doing with things, and whatever. And I told you this, you get to taste little bit of new technology. I try to so just brighten your horizon. What happened in next year, we don't know. All what we learned today. So this, I try to implement in your head conceptual things. So, something then you're not afraid of unknown. So then you get excited of unknown. You get ready, then, oh, you get me some unknown? Cool. Let me try it. Let me explore it. So it's a major stops because we always have fear to step out of comfort zone and start doing new things. So we always go through. And you know why? Because we think we're not ready. I want to make you sure and assure you then you're ready. So it doesn't matter how you learn. You will never stop learning. If you decide to be mobile tester or if you decide to go to QA in general, you will never stop learning. Since moment you stop learning, you're not tester anymore. You become some formal bureaucracy person, right? Fine, stay this way. So if you got some really good swamp warm place, then you get your 60,000 a year and want to proceed to the next step, fine. So it's your choice. But if you want something cool, catch a wave. So it's not just money related, but love what you're doing. Go to work every day because it's a cool. So then we never stop learning, but it will be always online resources, catch on some chats. My best way to learn, how I learn, is, and it's not a miracle, and I give you these tips in a day number 1. So in the still helping list, you have at least like 5 or 6 or maybe more special technical news link. So you need to follow the trends. You need to get your area where you want to be expertise, what is close to you, what you like to do, and what is make you excited. So follow this trend lane. If you like Windows, fine. Just collect all news about Windows. If you like, so want to specialize on Apple product, all right, do this and follow the Apple trend, what's going on in industry and specifically with Apple. Or it's wearable devices, augmented reality. Come on, go ahead. So, but you need to show your passion to that. You need to really get interest in how you get this. So sometimes you need to force yourself in the beginning to push yourself, then you start enrolling faster and faster. So read this news every day. First things in the morning, implement this in your mobile device. So first you wake up, go to the bathroom for 10 minutes or whatever. So read there. It will be enough, but you will have some special things, if something to talk about with people around, professional around you. So, and they will ask your opinion very time soon because, so they will figure it out. So then you like sublimation again of information for them. So, but you establish yourself this way and you never stop. It's a lot of special YouTube tutorials, special online classes, or I don't know, it's a lot of things free, but momentary there. So textbooks, for me, it's not way to go. I have textbooks. Yes, I read this one time through. So I take and use in real life maybe 10% of this book. Sorry. Okay, sorry this for this extra stuff. Come back to clear, very useful, cool. So now we proceed to the find. So how would you test the mobile application page in the beginner? I will tell you from perspective how I do, and it's successfully, and this I like this way. Is it standard or no? So it's just another opinion, then you can adjust if you like it. If you don't like it or it's complicated for you, don't do this. Do something then it's easy for you in the beginning. So because I tell you this from my own perspective, then when I start, I understand from what I understand now, maybe 15%. So this, because I never stop learning this, every day I learn something new, and I never, this afraid to say then I don't know something. I'm glad to say then I don't know something. So if you brought some object or subject, then I have no clue. So for me, it's a motivation to start search for the subject and find the answer. So, but come back to original mobile application page. First, if we have something unknown, I really will recommend to divide this page into components or modules. So the simplest way is why I push you, and actually we will spend time, I think, next week, so this regarding web design basic. Because if you know this ABC of web design, how this page construct, doesn't matter of what layout design they will implement. So, but this way, it will be very easy for you so to find out, this how you can divide this unknown in the modules, and how you will go explore page by page, how you can create checklist of what must be done. And to this checklist, you can apply different category of testing. Just, all right, if it's something related to connectivity, let's implement some network test cases. So here I see it's very sensitive during installation or upload of something. Let's put interruption point and see how this application will respond to some incoming calls or notification, push notification, SMS, and things like that. So it's a logic. It's come. I don't say then you need to have huge experience. You just need to start thinking, or if you really have hard time to imagine what to do with that. So I will highly recommend to start create collection of templates. So take from everybody. Also, if you don't understand how it looks today, so it's maybe in a couple months later pop up, and he's like, oh, here it is. Now I can see clearly what was it. So 2 months ago it was abracadabra for me. I don't understand any one point of these documents or something. But today it's very clear to me. So start collect and this absorb all things, then it's available for you. So I start this flash. I highly recommend to everybody have flash drive in the pocket all the time. It must be like your key, so this you have with you all the time. So because you never know where you catch a moment, then it will be one moment in life, one opportunity in life. Then somebody will be willing to give you some information. And if you just have your flash, ting, taram, so 2 minutes and you have this information in your hand. Because if you do not have your flash drive, maybe a couple hours later or day later, this person will be gone or change mind or don't want to do it, or it will be not reproducible, whatever thing is. So be aware of this and be professional. Have your flash drive with you all the time and collect things also if sometimes you don't understand why you need them. So systemize and put this in some folder. In a moment of truth, you will find this special folder of yourself. Like, yes, thank you, God, then I did it. Okay, so come back to original mobile application page. I'm sorry, I'm like today a little bit disorganized. You find and divide page into components and modules. And I highly recommend to do this like top of the page. It will be more likely some title panel, and most of the time, and the top navigational panel. Sometimes it's just combination of title, top navigational panel. Sometimes it's combination of title panel plus main menu panel. So it doesn't matter how it's called, but it's a nice thing to cover this as a one module. So normally what we do, we jump immediately to the bottom, to the global footer. Why it's called global footer? Because we're browsing through the pages, and on each page of this application we have the same footers. So with copyright, trademark, blah, blah, blah. We have some privacy statement, the term of use, whatever. So referral to the full website. It's a different design. It doesn't matter. But so more likely most of the pages have some sort of global footer. If they don't, okay, it will be your enhancement suggestions. So then, it's a good idea to have trademark and copyright on each page, just in case. So, and after we come back to the body, because body could be flexible, they have maybe main category or just text, where we do not check too much things, but it could be some add panel or whatever, some another functional things, then we need to check. So after you divide all this in a module like this, for each page, if you take a page as a module, then inside each module, you will have at least 3 sub-modules. Is it understandable? Yeah, we create some kind of, so 3 structures. So from the trunk go to the branches. And it could be maybe sub-module or whatever, sub-category. It's okay, it's fine. It happened to some more complicated and interesting application and product you have, then more developers, so this structure, architecture tree will be. So do not worry about this. After this things is division of components is done, then we start to take these components and think, aha, this is a variable, and now we put this each of this variable, for example, some button, like go button, or we have search button. So under different condition. So this, you remember this classic definition of test case. It's a set of variables, so and condition that, you know, this we set up for testing to clarify it, so what is expected behavior by requirements or by the user expectation. So, but the thing is then, you know, we need to extract this variable, so understand clearly what is in our case variable and what condition we can create, because it could be stress condition, it could be valid, invalid condition. So it could be we have these boundary conditions, yeah, this we put minimum or maximum and some middle range so value. So but in this case, pretty much each field of something, each button, so functional things will be our variable, and around this variable we can create different situations. So number 4, specify the expected and leave place for actual result. So it's when we create test cases, it's very important. Yeah, and for some reason people misunderstand this, and you know, in same time by creating this expected result column, they also fill in some text or whatever of actual result. How it can possibly be? Actual result will come later, right? During execution, not during test case writing. So get clear with that. So, but what is interesting things about expected result, where you get this expected result? Based on your experience? No. So this, if, again, best case scenario, if you have use cases or user scenario, then all this text that specify how the feature should work or what user should be experienced or where user should go, it's exactly extraction, it's exactly formula of happiness, so for your expected result. So if you have the story already available, you don't need to think about expected result. You just copy and paste this from user story and implement in your test cases. So if we're talking about troubleshooting, then create list and table so this to check any problem from different angle of view. We will have exercises after New Year. So, but in general, think about if we have some problem with email, where the problem will come. It can come from our device, from sender, from recipient, from network. So you understand what direction I'm talking about. So why we divide this in different area and point of view? Because, you know, we can have some very minimum check for some of these, like network connectivity things, or from sender or from recipient, and say, aha, so it's not there. Then full block of this problem, then actually we can spend a lot of time. So we can just, you know, omit and say, all right, we will not concentrate on this problem, is not there. This area, this section is work fine. So it's why it's always a good approach to, if you don't know things, try to check this from different point of view. Do not jump to detailed. I will push a button, blah, 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 check with email for spelling. And yes, you will give me a couple more ideas and run out of these ideas. And all these ideas will be just in one, you know, this angle of point of view. You will represent and see this problem only from perspective of send email to somebody. So you shrink yourself and possibility to find solution. Start think out of box. Start, for everything you see around, start think, so where else, from what point of view I can look at this problem. And here you have some couple of links, so I highly recommend it. Always, if I have links, I don't remember anymore what was it, but if it's there, it's good. So sorry, because sometimes I spend a lot of time to find some good, valid information. So let's check how much time we have left. Okay, 20 minutes. Is it so far so clear? Because now we go moving to the next point. Give me some response, guys. Yup. Okay. Yup is accepted. Okay, so mobile application testing iteration. It's what we're doing each time. Then we have some agile phase. Phases normally is take not less so than 5 sprints. And you remember sprints duration is normally between 4 and 6 weeks, but these days, so I know organizations that have a sprint for just every week. So each sprint is a 1 week duration. It depends. You do not have standard really. It depends on the company needs, what products they create, and how the things go. So, but be aware then, to create some product, you cannot really create this from one sprint. So why you divide this in sprint? Because it's a very effective way. If something go wrong, then you always, instead of doing this, for 3 months and after, oops, it doesn't work, you cannot bring this to production. So, if we do in sprint, you're doing some iteration of the testing over and over each sprint, and you understand. So then every sprint you have implementation of new function and feature enhancement and things. So, and if something go wrong within the short term, then you can easily go back to the good builds again, and this, it will save time, resources, money, whatever. And money is everything in our industry. So it's why the sprint is very important. So now, for each phase, which is contained from 5 to 15 sprints, we pretty much go in the same things over and over. And it's why that I don't want to confuse you, but it was taking me also a long time to understand. I don't know, try to create my new terminology, but for me it's easy to think in this way. So then we have type of testing. It's what iteration testing we're doing, repeatedness every phase, over and over. And I talk to my friends and people who work in industry, my former students, so they report then, so 75% of what is on this slide is true. So this, yeah, some company have their own naming of this, or some additional or less steps, so through the iteration, but generic template for this, it's absolutely true. So every time we do test coverage, which is so fun, and everybody, I hope, remember by this time what does fun mean. So plus we added special category of testing, and this category of testing, where is it? Right here. This I create some adjustment leads. So this category of testing, which we really use all the time, it's a functionality testing. We use user interface, so UI. We have connectivity testing, interruption, error handling. Compatibility depends on needs of product and company. And we have, in some cases, manual performance testing again. So for online banking, we do have testing like this. For some certification, we do testing like this. For example, like Intel certification. So let's come back to the iteration cycle. We do like main portion, it's a one-time things pro phase. So if we're looking one phase or one release, one version, whatever they call this an organization, don't matter to the name. So, but in one cycle, we will do this full test coverage, and it's always enormous amount of test cases, maybe like, I don't know, at least couple thousand, so if not more. We will do this one time. And after that, we just extract some most meaningful and, this core functionality from this all huge amount of testers, so this in create integration tests. And after we again, extract from integration test cases, smoke test cases and perform smoke testing. And again, extract of extract. So to create sanity and regression testing, but with some differential, and we will talk about this last thing. And we come back again to exploratory my clever note things, because we do one-time things. First we come to the day number 1 of work, and as introduction to the new project, new application. Yes, we will do exploratory kind of ad hoc testing. So push a button without, so meaningless push a button. But at the end of the project, we will always have this certain period of time called freeze code for developer, when they not supposed to implement any new code and concentrate only on fix things and prepare for release. So for us, it's a holy time when we finally, beside regression testing of validation of our own bugs, then we created through, so found and reported through the project. So we also have time to go through our notes, so which we will create and follow through the project. An exploratory way, but because it's a special path, we know, we learn application, we know where to go, where's the weak point of application to check. Is it there's some launch critical, so LC, a launch critical issue or not? Or we can just, skip it and put this maybe in suggestion, maybe in enhancement, in defer, or whatever things is preferable by company management. So, and here there also coverage for the very simple question. If you do not have time for testing, you have only 2 hours, so what kind of testing you will perform? All right, it's a very simple solution. Naturally, it will be smoke, combination of smoke and sanity testing. Why? So because smoke testing, it's a testing of a product core function of A to Z without details. So you remember number of test coverage in the beginning, so at least couple thousand. So smoke test, its extraction of this couple thousand shrink to 50 test cases maximum. And sanity always concentrated on current, so latest implementation of new function or feature, whatever. And think about, core functionality, 50 test cases, plus we have another, so 15 to 20 test cases of sanity. So you will do check application, core functionality, what is supposed to do to get the user from A to Z, plus the latest, most important implementation, so maybe new technical things, then was implemented in this specific phase. So, and altogether it will be approximately up to 100 test cases maximum, but not more than 100 test cases for the 2 hours. It will be high intense work, because normally it's our daily norm about 100, 150 test cases a day. So, but we will see that, this it depends on the project, and sometimes you have bad day, then you can proceed only with 20, 30 test cases because it's too buggy and you need to investigate, report this, take it screenshot, logs, and it's all take a time. Okay, so this we talk about this general category of testing, then you can, vary. Are you really apply all of them every time? No. Okay, it depends on the product, depends on the client company needs. Maybe they don't care. Maybe they want to cover just simple functionality UI and that's it. All right, you follow the company rules. So if you see then something is necessary, like connectivity, interaction, error handling, bring it up, bring it to the manager as a draft. Do not demand then you know better. So they will appreciate you become expert, so you secure your place in life in a company. Okay, so just to repeat, I create a slide for type of testing and testing cycle. Just everything that I said is specify one more time. And regression, it's in our case for manual testing, it will be short testing to confirm patches on the build that fixes number of defects. So we pretty much call regression, fixes, so to go not just modification of code. So yeah, it's a classical form, but in reality we just go and check our defects that was fixed in the last build or last patches, so when they go the last week before release, or through the project. So it will be your kind of regression testing. Some organization So put equal signs between sanity and regression testing. All right. So do not merit choose a naming. If they call this way, fine. So the thing is mainly then you understand what you should do at this, or what kind of test cases you should extract or create, so and execute during this specific testing. So when during interview you will mention some sanity test and they say what it is, we don't know. So describe what it is. Then you look in and concentrate on test cases so that only execute function and feature implemented in specific, so last or current phase. All right. So, and this kind of very simple explanation what is regarding automation test cases. Okay, now we have just a couple minutes to talk about remote device access. You know, it's coming. Yeah, there's people, but the thing is, it's what I like about mobile. We mentioned this and we talked about this, right? So a couple minutes ago. So the thing is so rapidly developed, and it's developed also in testing. So way to new technology. RDA, so remote device access, was super cool couple years ago. This everybody was like, it was hot, you know, this testing spot. And if you know some of these RDA tools, which is still on the market, so like a Device Anywhere, Perfecta Mobile, or Nokia Develop RDA, so it's a cool. But life is dictate. So you have links of this, and you can see tutorial right here at the bottom of the slide. So, but life dictates some things. And let's make introduction why we need this RDA in general and what way we go with RDA today. So we have some devices that must be because client specify we must use for testing. We have some major good trends like hotspot devices that is always almost a half big than must devices. And we have market devices which is like, okay, triple or 10 times bigger than from what we can test. And the possibility, you understand that all these devices also based on some different platform, different hard, software, SDK, frame, and so on, operating system. We have diversity of screen size, form factor, and we also just have some different network, you know, this possibility and the limitation. And these devices change periodically, and it's all pricely cost things because you know how much is, for example, iPhone cost, and Samsung these days is also not cheaper. So, and sometimes we don't need a contract in for testing. It's why this, they come to simple idea, then, you know, have some rental service, then you can have these devices anytime. And it's become a virtual thing. So it's, you have virtual device, you have remote access to this device. So then you can test from anywhere, this in, from any place. So through the virtual connection. It was a good idea. So this is how it's work. And you have some, you know, server, and you have some special. So this one is a server socket, and you have socket. You put your device inside socket, and you have very stable camera, which is pretty much recorded everything that happened on device. So, and through this RDA server, you connect to internet, and you have some special visual graphical scripting. It's not any specific programming language. It's actually very interactive form, and I will show you slide in a second. So, and it's just come as we can say as emulator, very good emulator, so to your desktop. So yes, you perform some testing on real devices, but they far away, and actually all your testing is occur right on the desktop. Oh, there we are. Hello. Okay, so here's one of example Perfecta mobile home screen. It's divided in 3 portions. We have, so this here some special portion where you have different function. So we have, oh actually this, sorry, I was talking about Device Anywhere. So, but it's a similar thing. You have 3 portions. One is like your script occurs. So another part where you have different option category what you should do with application, and here you have a choice like library of maybe 1,000 devices, then you can choose any possible device. So you make some link connection between category what you should do with device, like a copy, switch, tap, so go different function things. So you create pretty much path of this function. So this physical thinking, what your physical steps, what you should do with application, with device. And you see, you can have multiple devices to compare. You have Apple here and Samsung there. So, and you connect this to the main portion where this, you just drag and drop, drag and drop, so this function to the empty field, so, and connect, make a connection in this empty field. So you don't use the language, you just use a special advanced program, you know what button to push, then they connect together and connect to the specific phone. And after, when you create all these paths, you just tap on a button, run, and this test will run from top to the bottom. So all these things, then you're supposed to use your finger, so will be performed virtually by machine. So cool stuff. Yeah, this a very hard spot still. So yeah, here's this graphical scripting from device anywhere. This I think this for you it's easy to see. It's actually very interactive form. So you have here structure tree, and you take option, then you need to do with your phone. You just drag and drop so to the main field. So connect this main field to your phone from the library, and after the test is executed, you have immediately result. So the screenshot and logs depends to some special folder, to your email. It's very, very useful things. So, but now we come to, you know, kind of new technology. So I will call them as a master-slave devices. So this instead of using virtual devices, so the people create some new technology. Then you have some master device, and it could be, for example, iPhone, and you connect another 5 or 6 iPhones, different version, or tablets, iPad, whatever. So this Apple product, we can say, to this specific device, and all these devices real. So they have some, you know, over-the-air connection. So, and every time you do something with your master device, your slave device is immediately responds and do the same. So it's very interesting technology. I hope you can open these links to explore more, and I don't have time to, you know, create more slides for that because it was my new edition, so for today. But if you want to explore things and starting work with, you know, cloud computing, so automation tools, then you need to go check for South Lab, but you need to have some knowledge of Selenium. So, or you can explore more with less painful Calabash and Avitest. All this product is related to this master-slave testing of real devices. If you get hands-on, if you really, you know, just catch this technology, again, you will be unbeatable on the market, specifically if you're online. I know that some of you concerned that how we can get the place because we're in another country. So you must be special. So nobody needs another monkey tester from from third-party country, whatever. So, but if you have some special skills, then that's just hot on the market. So like augmented reality testing, or this special, so master-slave device testing. Ta-da! So here's your hotspot. Here's a special, so this motivation why they should invite you and take you, and you can work remotely because you know how to do this. And not too many people know how to do that. So be smart again and start thinking. Okay, so what else we need to cover? Oh yeah, so this your opinion about testing for mobile application and an emulator and simulator. You know, first you need to understand. Okay, oh shoot, we have 1 minute left. So first you need to understand what is emulator. Emulator is a hardware replica of actual mobile device, and actually we still these days we already got 3 types of emulators. So it will be device emulator, operating system emulator, and browser emulator. I got you here some whatever example of it. So, but the problem is then, you know, they're not sensitive to network sometimes. They have very limited functional and UI. So UI is completely unreliable on emulators. So I use add-on simulators. We use this for general testing as well. And, you know, I close my eyes for the half of this UI issue I see there because I know that it's not real. So to test with exception all the time and assumption that it's not real, it's a not good testing. It's a not good practice. So yeah, it's good for some it's why this emulator is super good and used very heavily by developer for unit testing, because it's exactly core when they create a code just to see how the certain small things work. One couple steps, whatever, back and forth. If we test like application product, I will not rely on emulator at all. So if we talk about, yeah, I have them here a couple emulator advantage still. Again, emulator is defined as a major developer tools. So it's why we have these emulators, and actually very good one for Xcode and for Eclipse. Yeah, because it's a part of IDE, so integration development environment. But if we talk about simulators, so simulators, they mimic software of device for testing purposes. And here's a problem. Then I have like really couple big failure in the past. So our big project in my previous company, then we was relay on simulator. And what happened in half year, we was testing on very perfect simulator, very advanced, super rich technologies. So this feature and everything is so cool. And we passed all testing. It was worked perfectly fine until we got one real device to check with real device instead of simulator. And all our testing collapsed. We have delay for 3 months. We have like really major money lost for all this reliability to simulator. And our company never took simulator again under consideration. So because what happened in the net again, it was not really good sensitivity to network issue and connection. So every time it was disconnection from the server, it was not recognizable, or it was false result. So plus this, it was not readable for version updates. So we have really hard time to follow the version and build. If something updates go over the air, simulator is a bad choice. So are they still used? Yes, they're still in use. So, but again, when we have now this new technology of master-slave come in the market, hey, who care about all the emulators really? So, and yeah, we have this hardware-software difference, so it's not adjustable. Okay, so it's pretty much it, and I have some couple slide helpful info for you, so you can use this if you want to be. Yeah, thank you for listening, and it's to be continued. So next time we will concentrate on examples, so to create test cases and go through the web design of the page. So I will post it in our collective email, not just this presentation, but web design file, so then you can have a time to go through. So I don't tell you then you need to know all the web design elements. Start learning this slowly, so in your pace then you can handle. But if you do not know, you always will struggle. If you cannot talk to professional on their level of language, professional language, you will fail. You will be not the preferable or favorable one. So, and it will cost you job at some point. And you want to be the best. You want to feel cool about yourself and confident about yourself. So it's why this basic web design elements, it's a must thing. I tell you this, if you ask me what I should learn right now, Python, Java, or web design elements, I will tell you web design elements. Because you want to get job now and not learn for another 6 months or 1 year so programming languages. Be honest with you, I do not know too much programming languages. I know very basic about Python, so this I know some of HTML, XML, so this because I use this for work. So it's what I'm, utilize in my daily life. I want to learn. But so really Java, I understand it's some helpful if I want to go automation level, but I still enjoy to stay in my manual area right now. I still find interesting to explore as from user interface perspective, the application and programs. All right, so thank you so much. As usual, you can submit your question to me, so on a Skype or wherever else, somewhere else, to my email. Yeah, to my email as well. Okay, guys, and do not forget, web recording, I will give it to the Michael tonight, so I don't know what time I will come home, guys, because I need to start testing right now. Um, yeah. So latest tomorrow, this Michael will have this file, so then you can have it in our school portal. Okay.